Hello everybody, welcome to a Facebook Live with Jeannie. I am Jeannie Nielsen, the Card Lady, and I'm very excited to be here with you today. I have a really fun project today. I'm so excited. This thing came to me kind of off the top of my head. I did see a card on Pinterest which started the wheels turning, but I didn't have the stamp set. I liked the colors that were done with that, and I decided I am going to figure out a way to do a one sheet wonder. This is kind of actually though a half sheet wonder. So I'm going to give you guys a second to catch up with me. I'm very excited to be here today and I have so much to share with you. I just closed registration for my first Genie in a Box. Excited about that. My In Color Club goes out this week. I'm working on a Christmas card club for the end of the month. And of course we have card class coming up on Thursday. This class that I'm doing right now will not be in a card class though, just to let you know. So anyway, let me flip down so you can start seeing the cards. The stamp set that I'm using today is called Botanical Layers. I am not using any designer paper. I have a specialty paper that I'm using just to scrap up for one thing, but otherwise this is all something that you can do with your stamp sets at home. I use Botanical Layers. I can also see using natural prints. You could probably do it with the leaf set, the new leaf set that's coming out in our catalog that we can order from in September, all sorts of things. But let me flip down so I can show you exactly what I did. And it's so easy with just 3 colors of cardstock and 3 colors of ink. So what I'm going to do real quick is flip down. Actually, I'm going to flip you up so that, and then I'm going to flip it down. And then I'll show you the 3 cards that I did. And I'm going to show you the cards that we're going to make today. Really super simple. A lot of it is prepped ahead of time and that helps. But here we go. Okay, so we're going to go up. Sorry, got a great view of my ceiling. And now we are going to flip around right there. There we go. Okay. There's my August host code, and here are my cards for today. Now, you may say, oh, I don't get it. They're all the same kind of card, but they're really a little bit different. Like I said, this is the stamp set I use, Botanical Layers. And I use this stamp, and this stamp, and I used it in a whole bunch of different color families, and you're going to see that in just a second. And then I used just the 3 sentiments in different on the different cards, and I'll show you what I did. So I started out with a 4 1/4 by 11 inch piece of cardstock, and I stamped all along the bottom of it. So this one right here is actually 4 by 5 1/4. So I cut off the top 1/4 inch. But you see what I did? So this, I'm not going to make this card. I'm going to tell you what colors I used though. I used Pebbled Path, Smoky Slate, and Berry Burst for this. And really quick and easy. This actually, I wanted it to look like washi tape, but it didn't look right over top, so I did it underneath, and it's actually just one of the other stamps, and I just did it on a scrap of paper. Sorry, I don't know why. There's so much. You know what? Hang on a second. I'm going to very quickly plug in my other light. There we go. So then maybe there won't be so much shadow. Okay, here we go. Hopefully you can see a little bit better without too much shadow now. So this is a 4 by 5 1/4 inch card. Very simple to do. And then we have this one. This one, I have an embossed layer underneath, and I have just a matte layer underneath this white. This white is 3 by 3 3/4. So I cut off 1/2 inch off the top. 3 inches was left of what I have. You'll see that in just a second. And then this one, I used our new stitched rectangles. These are an online exclusive item. And I used that, and this, it just happened, and I cut it 2 3/4, and that was a fluke, and it fit perfectly right in there. So let me show you how I did it for the next card. So these cards, like I said, Berry Burst, Pebbled Path, and Smoky Slate. Those are the 3 colors that I used here. But I'm going to show you a whole bunch of other options. And the cards I'm going to make today are actually using the Regal family. I am going to use Garden Green and Old Olive. And then I decided, and you'll see why I decided to add some wild wheat. Originally, I was going to do crushed curry. Actually, I did wild wheat. I thought it was too dark. Then I did crushed curry. I didn't like how it turned out, so I ended up going back to the wild wheat. And I'll show you that at the end, the other colors. So let me grab my glasses, and we are going to get to work. So all of my card bases are 5.5 by 8.5 inches. So let's make this card first. Actually, let's stamp first. First, I'm going to stamp. So I'm going to, let me move this out of the way. Well, hopefully Mickey doesn't start barking since Minnie is barking. I don't know if you guys can hear it, but sorry about that. There's probably a dog walking. It's that time of day. This one looks like berries to me. It's little leaves, but it has also got some fine flowers. I figured this was the best color for all of my lighter colors or brighter colors. So I saved that for that. This one I ended up using for my darkest leaves all the time. And then this was the fine leaves, and this was kind of my medium color. And sometimes it looked like a medium color, and sometimes it looked like a dark color as well. But this is what I decided on for the third color. Okay, so what I'm going to do is move this up so you can see it. There we go. Right in the thing. My garden green ink pad, I've got it right here. And what I'm going to do is, let me open my chamois so that I'm ready to go to clean this, because it can get a little bit messy. Okay, so I'm going to ink up with my garden green this color. You know what? I kind of want this underneath just a little bit so that I don't mess up my nice in-color grid paper. Okay, so what I'm going to do is stamp this once. Oh, could have done better with that. I'm going to stamp it again a little bit higher. Could have done better with that one too. A little lower. I think this is not working out as well because, first of all, I've done a lot with this color today, so it's probably could use some re-inking. But the other thing is I'm not standing up. So, and then this is number 4. Okay, so I've inked it up 4 times right across the top here. Let me clean that, get that out of the way. And we're going to close up the garden green ink pad. And next I'm going to do the Old Olive. The Old Olive ink pad. So this is a 4 1/4 by 11 inch piece of paper, but I am going to use just little pieces of it for 3 different cards. And I'm using the same formula for all of the cards. So you can definitely copy this. Okay, I'm going to stamp right there. Old Olive looks very similar to the garden green, but when it dries, it's not quite as dark. So we got that. I'll put that in the middle right there. One more over here. I'm going to put a tiny bit down at this end, even though you're not going to see it that much, but it does give a little bit of nice color. So we'll do it that way. Okay, so that's the Old Olive. And now we're going to use the wild wheat because, like I said, and I'm going to show you in just a second, I ended up using the crushed curry, and the crushed curry was kind of blah. There really wasn't a whole lot of pizzazz to it, I guess. I mean, that was my feeling. But okay, so this is the berry one. So this, like I said, is either the lightest or the brightest of the colors. And wild wheat, boy, this would make a really, really nice fall card. And you see how dark it is, but it doesn't stay that dark, I promise. And I'm going like that. And it doesn't matter if they all stamp the same or look the same, because these are 4 different cards. So you can do whatever you want with, actually 3 different cards. Okay, so I've got that out of the way. So now what I need to do is take my paper trimmer. And I kind of told you the formula, and if you write it down, you're going to be all set. If you do my card class to go, of course, you will be able to get the measurements in the tutorial. Okay, so I've got my paper trimmer here, And I am going to cut the first cut at 5 1/4 inches. And I think, yeah, I think I'll do this side. That's okay. I could do either side, but 5 1/4 inches is the first cut. So that's usually one of your usual layers, 4 by 5 1/4. But remember, I said that this was 4 1/4 inches tall. So we're going to cut off the top 1/4 inch, and we can get rid of that. We're not going to need that anymore. So that's card number 1 ready to go. Card number 2, I'm going to cut one at 2 3/4 and one at 3 inches. And that's going to work out perfectly because there's 5 3/4 inches left. So let me see. I'm going to cut this one at 3 inches right here. I kind of like that. And it's actually 3 inches by 3 3/4 inches. And the reason I remember that is because I know my mat is 3 1/4 by 4 inches. And let's just hope and pray that I'm right about that, because it's not going to work if I'm wrong. Right here at the top of all of these, you'll see that I have a perfect space to just stamp a greeting. This one, like I said, is 2 3/4 inches, and I believe I should measure this just to be sure, but I'm pretty sure it's 2 3/4 inches by 4 1/4 inches, and it is, and that's why I kept it at 4 1/4. So we're going to keep that just like that. We can move this out of the way, and we are all set with our paper trimmer. Now all we have to do is do up our cards and stamp our greetings. So this is my first card, the 4 by 5 1/4 inches. And what I'm going to do is put this on an old olive base. Now my card ink colors are garden green, wild wheat, and old olive. So all 3 of my cards are going to use a different base. So I used this one, old olive, for this base right here. And this is going to be very similar to this card right here that I made. So what I'm going to do before I attach it is tie some ribbon around the bottom. You know what? What I'm going to do before I attach it actually is stamp the greeting. So I have my greeting here. You mean the world to me. Sorry, I have to read this upside down and backwards, so it's actually a little bit difficult. And I put this on the block, and I'm going to trust the block because I know that that's going to work the best. I think I'm going to stamp this in garden green. I've already got some wild wheat ribbon. I've got some old olive for the base, so I'll stamp this in garden green just to tie the 3 colors in together. And I have to stand for that because that's the only way this is going to work. I'm going to stamp it right there. You mean the world to me. Perfect. That's just what we want it to look like, isn't it, guys? And then I'm going to add some gems in just a second, and that'll fill up some of that other open white space over here. So I have here the In Color jute twine. This is the wild wheat. And I'll tell you, I had a little bit of trouble hanging on to this. So I do have my reverse tweezers. Now, if you got the embossing additions kit, it has the reverse tweezer in it. Can you tell me where I put mine? Because I can't find it. I got the embossing additions kit. The tweezers are not in there. I have a feeling I left it at an event, but that would be just like me. So what I'm going to do is tie this nice and tight. Use my reverse tweezers, and all I'm going to do is just tie a little knot. Just like that, and let it go, and ta-da, we have our first card just about done. And you know what? Don't do what I just did. Oh my goodness, I didn't. That's kind of crazy. It must be like a sliding knot. Now, I could not for the life of me make a sliding knot in front of you guys on camera if I tried. So let's try this again. We're going to try this again, and maybe I won't use my tweezers. Maybe I'll just try and tie it nice and tight. I'm going to go like that. I can always use my adhesive on the back of the card. It's hard to tie knots if you have big thumbs, and I've got big thumbs. Okay, you know what I like to do? If I ever have something like this and my ribbon is kind of loose, you could retie it, or, yep, I have it. I'm going to, I did this on the back already. I am going to use some washi tape that I have right here. You can use washi tape. It's acid free. It's safe for your cards, especially if your cards are going to be kept for a long time. I don't know about you, but my mom and my mother-in-law both keep all of my cards. My sister's a card maker too. She used to design for Our Daily Bread. I don't know if you guys remember that company. But anyway, okay, here we go right there. I'm going to attach this on the front of the card. And let's see, here's my adhesive. Just going to attach this just like that. And then I'm just going to add some dots. And voila, this card is practically done. I have my in-color dots here. I have my take your pick tool, not here. I used it on the other table. I thought I had it, but I have that for my... That's funny. Do you ever think you have everything all set? Never happens. This one actually, I was deceived because I saw this, but this is one of the new Crafters accessory picks. You've got the accessory ends. You've got a perforating tool. You've got a hook, which looks like a dental hook to me. You could, but we're not going to use it on any teeth today. Okay, I'm going to just use some of the wild wheat. And I don't know if you notice already, but it's already lightening up quite a bit. So I'm going to use all three of this size of the wild wheat. I like to use the putty side just to grab my dots. I push them and it picks up just like that. And voila, here is the first card, just like that. Now this is just like, oh, you know what? I forgot. So I was supposed to stamp this on my scrap. You know what? I wonder if I still could. Okay, let's try this. I have a scrap of wild wheat. We're going to see if I can still do this. Okay, good luck to me, guys. I forgot that I wanted some layers there. Okay, so you mean the world to me. We're going to try it again. I don't think I stamped twice in the same spot like that, but we'll see. Let's do it again. That's why there's two sides of cardstock. There you go. Perfect. Let me move that out of the way. Let me close up my garden green ink so I don't get it all over my hands. And what I'm going to do is just cut this at an angle, just like that. And when I said I had some scrap paper, I have here just a little bit of the specialty distress gold paper. And I don't know if this is the right size or not, but I'm going to try tucking this underneath it just like that. Yeah, it looks a little bit staged, but let's see if we can do it. Yeah, I kind of like that. It gives it a little bit of extra interest. So let's do that. I wish I had cut this a little bit longer, but there's no going back once you make that cut. So go like that. And this one, I could do with dimensionals. I'm just going to attach it right now. I definitely could do it with dimensionals, but we'll just attach it. Just like this, we're going to overlap it. And there we go. Card number 1. Isn't that beautiful? I like the texture gold. It's a little bit extra, a little bit of something. That's the only designer paper I'm using on all these cards. Okay, on to card number 2. So this is 4 by 5 1/4 inches of my 4 1/4 by 11 inch piece of cardstock that I stamped. Okay, card number 1. Card number 2, I've already done a lot of the work for too. I have a wild wheat background. I have my old olive mat, and I've already cut my garden green cardstock with my stitched rectangle die. I used a 4 by 5 1/4 inch piece of cardstock to cut this, and it actually is about 5 1/4 inches wide, but no, high, 5 1/4 inches tall, but it is about 3 3/4 inches wide. It cuts a little bit off of each side. So what I have here for my mat is 3 3/4 by 5 3/8, just to give it a little bit of something. Okay, so what I'm going to do, I have to look at my card to see what I'm going to do because I don't remember what I'm going to do. Okay, what I'm going to do is attach my stitched rectangle first to this. That's what we're going to do first. And we don't have any garden green or old olive ribbon. So what I decided to do instead was the Parakeet Party. Just like this one is actually sweet sorbet ribbon, I'm going to use the Parakeet Party trim. And for this one, I'm definitely going to need those tweezers because I am telling you, this is slippery stuff. Okay, because of all the little notches, all the little nooks and crannies in that embossed and die cut piece, it's very easy for the glue to not stick. So just really give it a good tap and make sure you apply plenty. Okay, I'm gonna see if I can do this without the reverse tweezers. Every time I've done it today, my thumbs are so fat, guys. That's my problem. My sister has perfect piano playing. Yep, can't do it. My sister has long, narrow fingers, and I was graced with the Vandergoof fingers, which are short and fat. Or maybe it's the other way. Maybe it's Vanderway. Both my parents are from Holland. I am 100% Dutch. They were both born in Holland. And my mom was 9 when she came. My dad was 12. So I am very proud to say I'm 100% Dutch. Okay, there we go. Just like that. Let me cut this tail off. Put this out of the way. And what I'm going to do is slide it just like that. And then I'm going to actually kind of twist it so that it's going to be sideways. Just like that. Okay, now I've got one of my pieces. This is my 2 3/4 inch by 4 1/4 inch. I believe that's what I said. 2 3/4 by 4 1/4, and that was a perfect fit, and it was totally by accident. That doesn't happen very often. I'll take it when it does happen. That is definitely for sure. Let's see, what am I going to stamp on this one? This one, it says, thinking of you. Boy, we can always use cards like this, can't we? I never have enough thinking of you cards. I think I'm going to use the Wild Wheat dots, so I think I'm going to stamp this in the old olive. And I might not use all of my colors for my sentiments. We'll have to see. Okay, we're going to stamp it right up here. Actually, I'm going to stamp it in this corner since there's more room. Thinking of you. There we go. And what I'm going to do very quickly, this one, instead of using dots, I was wrong. I'm actually going to use butterflies. It just seemed like it needed some little butterflies, and I'm going to use some dimensionals to pop up this layer. So let's add the dimensionals to the back. I always do 1 in each corner, depending on how tall mine is. I usually put 1 in the center, sometimes 2 in the center. I think this one takes 2 because it's a pretty tall piece. You don't have to peel off all of your dimensional backs if your 4 corners are already peeled off. Just a little time saver trick for you. And we're going to put it right there. Ta-da! And I'll add it right on here. I didn't know what this was going to look like, by the way. I'm only guessing because I got the cardstock ready and I thought that it would look similar to what I did with my Pebbled Path, Berry Burst, and Smoky Slate, but I wasn't sure. And I kind of like these colors together. They kind of work, don't they? Okay, so we've got that, and let's add the butterflies with our take your pick tool. I could use my little spatula too, but you know what's going to happen? If I pick up one with a spatula, it's going to go flying. I know that. I just know that. So I'm just going to do like 1 there. And they always say to do about 3 for interest. That's up to you. I could put 1 more small one down here, I guess. Let's do it over here. Can't even see it. That wasn't a good spot for it. Oh well. But here we go. That's card number 2. And you can stamp whatever you want inside. I always put a 4 by 5 1/4 inch layer of basic white on my darker cardstocks. I actually like to do it on just about all of my cardstocks, and I like to write a handwritten message. So this is card number 2. let's go to card number 3. And this is also a very simple card, especially because I've got everything ready to go. Garden green base, 5.5 by 8.5. This is my mat, 4 by 5.25 inches. And I stamped it with the Fern 3D embossing folder. So I'm going to do just that. And this one, I've got to look at my other cards here. Yes, I did not use any ribbon, so I don't have to worry about popping it up or whatever, or waiting to attach this layer. Always make sure you're looking at your cards before you glue it down. Have you ever glued it down and then you realize, oh, I was supposed to do the ribbon under? Somebody says fishing wire or dental floss works underneath. I've never had luck with that. Usually once my layer is glued down, I'm either going to lose the layer or I'm going to lose the card base. That's just the way it is. Okay, so this is our last card. This was 3 by 3 3/4. So my base here, this garden green matte layer, is 3 1/4 by 4 inches. And I'm going to stamp that with my last sentiment, which is thank you for everything. And why don't I stamp that one in the wild wheat, since I have so much garden green and old olive already. What I do need to do though is make sure that I'm stamping it right side up, because that would be a shame. To get to this part, let me stand up. Stamp. See, I've got a little splooch there. I got a little messy. I smooshed it a little bit too much into my ink pad. And what I do find, and you probably have found this as well, guys, is that the new ink pads, especially the new ones this year, seem to have a lot of extra ink. They're very runny and they have a lot of extra ink. I can take care of this. I could either use a butterfly, or I've got the in color dots again that I was thinking about using. Let's cover it up with an in color dot. I'm going to use the wild wheat again. We'll do it just like that. Somebody once said that a mistake is just an excuse for an embellishment, and that's pretty much what it is. Okay, dot number 3. These in color dots are so handy. Although they're the 5 colors, the boho blue, the copper clay, the pebbled path, the wild wheat, and the moody mauve, you can easily pass them off for other colors when you need to. This could be crushed curry if you needed it to be, like the pebbled path, or the boho blue. It would go with misty moonlight and things like that. So you definitely have options. Let's glue that on. And I will I think what I'm going to do is pop up this layer too, because I can. It's such a simple card that why not pop up the layer, right? Love it when my dots peel very easily. If they don't peel for you, just to let you know, somebody said to use your thumbnail, stick it in the center of it, and then it kind of lifts them. So I don't even need to peel off these last 2 because my corners are all set. And here is card number 3. So let's look at these cards real quick, and then I'm going to show you some other color options. So don't go anywhere yet. Okay, so this is the one card we just finished. I did it Pebbled Path, Smoky Slate, and Berry Burst, and I really love these colors together. But I have to say I like this one too. And I'll show you, I guess this is going to lead me to my next thing that I want to show you real quick. I did this one, and I don't know what you think, but to me, the crushed curry gets lost in it. It's kind of blah. It doesn't do a lot for it. I don't know, maybe if I had done Daffodil Delight, it would have been brighter. But I love the wild wheat with it, rather. So that was what I wanted to show you with that. Okay, this is card number 2. And we've got that right here. And the same thing, the stitched rectangle, the same size. I did everything exactly the same, except I didn't put my butterfly in a very good spot. And this is card number 3. Like I said, I stamped that, and if you want to see, this was the stamp that I used. This stamp has a lot of ridges and detail. It's probably a great aquarium plant, so that is what I used right there. I stamped that in Pebbled Path just on a scrap and then popped up the sentiment. This one you'll see I did the distressed gold, and I like both of them. I really do. I probably should have put this closer to that edge because it kind of makes this side a little bit heavy, but that's okay. Let me show you some other things that I stamped real quick today, just for some other ideas of colors that you could use. I'm going to clean up my mess because it's kind of amazing when I can be on top of things. Okay, so this one is using so I figure this one is kind of our neutrals family. This one is kind of our regals family because the garden green and the old olive, of course, are regal family colors. The smoky slate, Pebbled Path is actually an in color, but it's a great neutral color. This one is kind of our brights. So I stamped this in Poppy Parade and Flirty Flamingo. And I don't know how this would look on the cards. I'm going to see, though, because I'm not going to waste this now that I've stamped this. And, of course, Crumb Cake is my neutral that's down there. And that's kind of my medium, if that makes sense. So I've got my dark, my light, and my medium. So that's Crumb Cake, Poppy Parade, and Flirty Flamingo. Not a bad color combination. Then I've got this one. This is a fun one. What do you think of this one? This is our 2022 to 2024 in colors. So these colors are going. This is our Starry Sky. This is Orchid Oasis, and I stamped some Parakeet Party in between. And I use that kind of as my light, my neutral. See, this is the medium, the dark, and the light. So that's how I figured that. And I'm going to make these cards too and see how they turn out. Last one is my Subtles family. And this Subtles family, this is Lost Lagoon. And this is Pool Party, and it really kind of took on a green color next to the Lost Lagoon. And I didn't honestly know that that would happen. And then my light color, or bright, is my Fresh Freesia. And I like how that turned out, and I can't wait to put these cards together. So all I have to do is right here. So now I've got 6 cards, 1, 2, 3 more, 9, 12, I have 15 cards just about ready to go, and it did not take that much of extra. And if you want to include this one, which I'll probably stamp something else on the back, because I'm not a big fan of the crushed curry, I could have 18 cards ready to go. So let's flip you back and say goodbye, and thank you for watching, and I hope you're inspired. I love that you guys watch me. Thanks so much. I hope you have a wonderful weekend. Try these cards. You can always rewind and get the measurements because I was pretty clear on them, or you can get the card class to go. Have a great day. Bye, everybody.